Right now, in the studio with us, I'm proud to say hi to Lisa Storment. Wake Up Sonoma.
Hi, Steve. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for coming in. Talk about Wake Up Sonoma. What exactly is it you guys do? Explain.
Wake Up Sonoma came together just at the end of 2022 informally, but in 2023 we formed as a nonprofit.
Cool.
The reason we came together was because we had been noticing our founder, Veronica Napolis, had been tracking the efforts of Ken Mattson, KS Mattson Properties, been tracking property buy-ups since 2017, but they've actually been buying property since 2015.
Yeah.
And we just noticed this trend, and we didn't understand what was going on. They were not being transparent. So we came together to try to find out what they're doing and inform the community.
And what did you find? Explain what they were doing, because I followed it, and I'm following it now. Ken Mattson, by the way, resigned as CEO of Lefever Mattson Property Management. We'll get more details in a minute. But some of the stuff they were doing, and I've seen pictures in the PD from Wake Up Sonoma showing what they did or were doing or planning. So talk more about that.
Well, we don't know what they're planning, but we know what we can find through research. We've sort of partnered with the Press Democrat and the Sonoma Index Tribune, who's verified our research.
Cool.
That what they've been doing is basically buying up property, 123 plus at this point in time.
Wow.
And there are at least 24 businesses that they have fictitious business names for in Sonoma. And they are, it appears to us as though they are slowly advancing with the agenda of taking on the Sonoma brand. It sort of looks that way to us because there are a lot of key businesses that they now own. And, you know, so we don't really know what their plan is. And then on top of that, they have residential properties. And we know that he has informed the city, for example, that some of those residential properties he is building to bring his own people in and staff and live there so that he can staff his businesses.
Wow.
So we also found that his main business partner, who's Tim Lefever, has deep ties to the Council for National Policy, Pacific Justice Institute, and Capital Resource Institute, and these are...
Sounds frightening.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it just...
You should be frightened,
okay,
yes.
I am.
Because they are the national groups that have been designated as hate groups by the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Oh, good Lord.
And they are championing things like banning gay marriage, overturning Prop 8, book banning, a lot of things.
Now I'm even more frightened now.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah,
and this is Lefever.
This is Tim Lefever.
Yeah,
yeah. So he, as late as 2019, he was on the board as a gold circle member of the Council for National Policy. And if you Google him, you will find some alarming facts about him. So the fact that he is stepping in as CEO now leaves us to wonder what's going on now. We don't know what the agenda is.
Yeah, this whole thing is frightening.
Yeah.
The town of Sonoma, who we love and have a lot of folks. David Guin was in the studio last week. He is the city manager. And, of course, Tim Zahner from the Sonoma Valley Tourism, whatever.
Yes.
And he used to run the Sonoma County Tourism Bureau, which is where we met and became great friends, and he's on all the time. And I have 2 tattoos, and they were paid for by the city of Sonoma.
Oh, nice.
I mean, the county of Sonoma, not the city, but the county, yeah. Thanks
nice.
to Tim Zahner. And we did them on the air.
Wow.
So I'm
brave.
interviewing
That's
people,
brave.
and you're hearing zzz. It didn't hurt. So Ken Mattson, CEO of Lefever Mattson Property Management, has resigned.
Right.
And now Lefever has taken his place.
Yeah, the interesting thing, if I could share some interesting facts with you.
Please do.
What we know now, and what we started doing research on them, and we're always researching them, what we found was that they have $1.2 million worth of back property taxes and mortgage payments. So they have 10 notices of default on 19 properties in Sonoma Valley because of that. The interesting thing is that if you look at the stock corporation that all of these businesses are under, that he has under, the board of directors for that was Ken Mattson and Tim Lefever. Until January 2nd of this year, when now it was turned over to Tim Lefever. So that means in January, it looks as though they were preparing for this transition. So we just found that out. Of the $1.2 million of back of losses, $572,472.25.
And they owe this money.
Yes, they owe. Those are the just late property taxes, and because of that, the Franchise Tax Board has now put them in suspension on their businesses, so they can no longer operate legally 25 of their fictitious business named properties in the city of Sonoma.
Explain fictitious named properties.
Businesses, sorry.
Businesses, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so, whenever when you become a business, you have to file a fictitious business name.
Yeah.
And they have filed 25 of them in the city of Sonoma. Many of them are extremely recognizable. The Depot Hotel, General's Daughter, seven branches, which was General's Daughter, the Sonoma's Best Hospitality. These used to be all very popular hangouts for City of Sonoma people.
Sure.
And so what we've done is actually promote a boycott against those businesses where he owns the business. Now, if he went in and he took over the business after there were people already there that were running a business, we're not boycotting those businesses because they didn't have a choice of who their landlord is.
Gotcha.
So that's one of the activities we do to just raise awareness as well as protests.
Man, I want to try and get Tim Lefever on the show, but he probably won't come.
Good luck
Hopefully
with that.
He's listening now. Ken Mattson has resigned. Has anyone talked to Ken Mattson as to exactly why he resigned, or do you think, as I think you mentioned, that they've been thinking about this since
we don't
the
know.
first of the year?
We really can only guess based on what we do know.
Right.
We do know that they have refused to come to the table with us. Wake Up Sonoma, which is a grassroots organization that has said, come to the table, tell us what you're doing. We want to know, are you friend or foe? What is your plan for the community? And they have not responded to any of our requests, nor have they responded to any press outreach to them. So it appears to be part of their MO not to respond to requests.
Wow. As scary as it is, run down again what Lefever, Tim Lefever, some of these organizations that he has invited or has been part of, including ones, gay marriage, anti-gay marriage, and worse stuff. White supremacy, did you say, or something like that?
Well, so we believe that there are ties between the Council for National Policy, Christian nationalism / extremism, and the megachurches. That is a big up and coming sort of industry in California.
Yeah.
And we know that some of the money we speculate that some of the money that comes from the megachurches goes to backing these kinds of issues that they disagree with. We know that Ken Mattson is adverse to LGBTQ what he calls lifestyle, which I take issue with that word, but that's what he says. And so back to what Tim Lefever's ties are, he is engaging in we think he's engaging in sort of promotion of hate policies just by the fact that he's a member of those organizations.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just happen to become a member of those.
No.
You are
you
probably
believe
invited
it,
in.
probably.
You believe in it.
Yep.
And when you look at some of the policies that they are promoting, it is really scary when we think about what is it that they have planned for Sonoma. So there's a philosophy called Seven Mountains Mandate. And again, I invite you to Google that.
Seven Mountains Mandate.
Right. And what this is basically a Christian nationalism, extremism philosophy that you go into a community, you basically extend yourself into all of the branches of every community. Schools, media, business, restaurants.
Again, that's frightening, and it's
Yeah.
legal, obviously.
And it's legal.
Yeah.
So if you start pushing your influence into all of those areas of a community,
Yeah.
then basically you have a lot more influence in the community than anyone else. So the Seven Mountain Mandate promotes that as a mandate of their faith. And that is what we wonder if that is what's going on with them.
Lisa Storment is here from Wake Up Sonoma. These stories are amazing. The Lefever Mattson Property Management, Ken Mattson has resigned. And so obviously Tim Lefever's based in the town of Sonoma?
We believe that he lives probably in Sacramento, but we don't know. He does own property in Sacramento.
Do we know
a
at all
Capitol building.
Do we know at all how he made all this money? Because there's a lot of money thrown
there
around
is,
here.
they say follow the money.
Yeah.
We have been trying to follow the money. It's like a vault. There's no way to actually follow the money. Of course, we can guess and we can speculate, but that's one of the things we would like to know. Where's this money coming from?
Yeah.
And what are your plans?
Wow. I want to get back to the beginning of this conversation for you to reiterate what Lefever Mattson Property Management has been doing and spending so much money and buying places all over the town of Sonoma. Boy, I wish I would have talked to, when David Guin was here, I should have asked him. I had sort of forgotten about Lefever Mattson until Ken Mattson resigned. And I went, oh. But David is coming back in, so we will talk about it. Explain again what you did at the beginning of the conversation with what they've been doing for a while now as far as buying so many properties.
Yeah, they've been buying, to date they bought about 123 properties. About 24 of them are business, are hospitality related in terms of businesses.
So Lefever's now the landlord.
Well, that's one thing we want to know. You should. What we want to know is what's going to happen with all of those businesses now. And the other thing that's important to note that we found out is that when they buy these properties, they buy them at exorbitant amounts over the asking price. And then they sell them back to themselves, to one of their 35 LLC shell companies, at a very depressed price.
That doesn't sound legal to me, but what do I know?
It's a
I only
perfectly
play
legal,
a lawyer on the radio. I'm not really one.
It is actually a perfectly legal real estate strategy.
It's amazing.
But, it does raise some red flags for us. And the thing, I guess the message, if I can be so bold to put out a message that Wake Up Sonoma would like to put out,
Go ahead.
is that this is what happens in communities when you see a big property investor coming into your community and you notice that they're buying up a lot of influential properties and businesses, that it's very possible that they are building a house of cards. And when that house of cards falls, such as it seems to be doing now in Sonoma, that is a ripple that's heard across the community, and innocent people get hurt. And if you are a realtor and you are selling to those people, then you're part of that building that house of cards and part of the demise. So Wake Up Sonoma is we think of ourselves as a template for activism that can happen in your own community in order to, watch what people are doing, but also just really just inform the community so the community has a voice.
Yeah, and that's what's amazing to me in many ways, which is why I'm glad you're on. Wake Up Sonoma. What is the city saying? How are they dealing with this? Do they just let it go and don't want to know what's going on here with this guy?
I can't really speak to what the city thinks or feels about it.
I get it.
I think that they have to be kind of neutral for all the citizens of Sonoma. So, I would say that they're doing their best to figure it out as well.
David Guin, the city manager of Sonoma, will be back soon. We're going to key in on this situation and find out from him what the city is thinking or doing or not doing.
Yeah, I think one of the problems that the city of Sonoma has is that we don't have a lot of the ordinances and laws in place that protect a city from this kind of thing. So we have been advocating for that kind of thing to happen in Sonoma, and we do meet with the city of Sonoma officials and just, throw out ideas. What they do with it, they do with it what they can. In one community, they do something called receiverism, where
so this is not just happening in Sonoma. You mentioned Sacramento.
This is not happening just in Sonoma. It's happening all over California as well as the nation. I just read a story about something happening in Kentucky, very similar to this. And the people are alarmed. They're trying to figure it out. The problem is that once you finally wake up and figure out what's going on, in some cases, it's too late. Think of Siskiyou, Redding, Shasta. They're almost... Redding is in a too late situation. Siskiyou and Shasta are on their way there. So yeah, it's important that community members take an active role in, I guess, monitoring when they see big corporate investors coming into their town.
Yeah. This is amazing. This just blows me away. We're going to continue talking about it, and David Guin, city manager of Sonoma, when he gets in, we'll really get deep, try to get deep. I'll try to get deep into what the city of Sonoma is doing or thinking. Again, it's Lefever Mattson Property Management. This has been going on for quite a while in the town of Sonoma and other places. Ken Mattson resigned as CEO recently. So Lefever is running the whole thing. It sounds almost like that he's been running the whole thing even before Ken Mattson resigned. I don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah.
But I would like to put a plug in here, too, to say that that's not the only thing that Wake Up Sonoma does. Wake Up Sonoma, really, we have little or no control over what these people do. The only real control we have is to give back and put back into the community positivity and counteract what it is we perceive their goal might be, which is to promote, hate policies. So we are involved in promoting a lot of nonprofit activities, such as the Queer Youth Prom, first ever in Sonoma Valley, is going to happen this fall.
I heard about that. Yeah.
We're partnering with the city on Pride. We have a fundraiser coming up April 20th. Which is going to be in one of the most historic buildings in downtown Sonoma, and we'd like to feature businesses to get positive, thriving, small local businesses doing those positive things.
Is that Sebastiani Theater you're talking about?
No, this is in downtown Sonoma, and I can give you the address, but if you go to mynorthbaytickets.com, you can see the exact location.
And what's the date again?
April 20th from 6 to 9 p.m. We're going to have some great food and some really great music.
Wake Up Sonoma. Lisa Storment is here. I'm a little confused. Well, I'm always really confused, but I just, I don't worry about it. I'm old, and I've been doing radio 51 years and 16 years on this show. So,
well, don't feel bad. We're confused, too, about what's going on.
Everyone's confused, pretty much. When there's okay, so let's say there's a restaurant in the town of Sonoma, and this property management company comes in and they buy the property. So basically, they're the restaurant's landlord, right?
Right.
And have they been raising rent and things to try and?
Well, what we do know is that there have been some situations where we don't really see them raising rent, but we do see them creating barriers to certain local businesses functioning as they could or should be in those places.
And what do those local businesses have to say? I mean, I'm sure you've talked to all of them.
Yes, we have. I have to say that there is fear within the community about speaking out against Wake Ups or the Mattsons because, they are depending upon people coming in and patronizing their businesses. And these days, in these times, if you publicly fall on one side or the other, you're putting your business at risk. And we don't know what kind of kickback or fallout could happen from that. So the businesses tell us they would never support them. On the other hand, they won't actually come out against them.
Because they're afraid, too.
They're afraid, yeah. Yeah. I mean, Wake Up Sonoma treads that line a lot, and I would imagine. We just stick to the facts and things that we can verify and that have been verified through an independent source, and then we just put it out there.
I'm speechless. I'm without speech. It's just amazing. What besides you mentioned an event coming up on the 20th and such? What else is Wake Up Sonoma doing?
We have had a series of we started out with the town hall, and that was amazing. You could see how concerned the community was at that town hall. It was really much needed, and people were very grateful for it. Since then, we've done 3 film showings of Christian nationalism, extremist type exposés. The one that we have coming up on May 28th was narrated. Bad Faith is what it's called. It's narrated by Peter Coyote.
Of course,
and
he's a friend of mine now. And he's been on the show, and he's coming on soon.
Good. He's going to be at our Q&A afterwards.
He's great, man. I was at his house in Sebastopol. He's so cool.
He's a great guy. He did an infomercial for us. I don't know if you've not seen it. You should go on our website and try to see it. Yes, I'll check it out. And Ann Nelson, who is an author and awarded journalist, she wrote The Shadow Network, which is kind of what got us started. And then the director of that film will also be there, and we're going to have a Q&A. We just did one a couple months ago, and that one was God and Country by Rob Reiner. And
yeah, I got to see that too. I read about it.
That was amazing. Sold out, 310 people in that theater, in Sebastiani Theater. And we had the director and Ann Nelson and our own Reverend Curran Reichert, who is a reverend of a local church, who is moderating these panels. And then the first one we did was Data and Misinformation, and that one was Charles Creel, a documentary by Charles Creel, and he couldn't come out because he's in the UK, but he sent us a really great introduction, personalized introduction to the movie. So everything we've done has been sold out. So what does that tell you about the concern in the community?
Yeah. And the community should be concerned.
Yes.
Is it wakeupsonoma.org?
Yes, it is.
Okay, yeah. People, you should go there, especially you and you folks in Sonoma, if you're not following all this. Wakeupsonoma.org. Lisa Storment is here from Wake Up Sonoma. I don't know. What else? I mean, we'll wrap it up, but I want some more thoughts from you.
Yeah. Well, I guess what I'd like to say is that a small nonprofit like Wake Up Sonoma can't function without donations and can't function without people to people it.
So you're looking for volunteers and donations. Of course, go to wakeupsonoma.org and you can volunteer or donate.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
especially if you live in the town of Sonoma, you should do it.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
Interesting. All right. Well, we're going to keep talking about this, and we shall talk again. Lisa Storment from Wake Up Sonoma. Thanks
All
for
right.
coming in
Thank you so much.
and running all this down, because some of it's really frightening.
Yeah.
Some of it's just bizarre and stuff we don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
It makes no sense.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks.
All right. Thank you so
All right,
much.
We'll
Steve.
see you again.
Okay. Bye-bye.